Now, how do I start? Like, hello? Question?
Oh my
No.
god, bro.
How do I start? Hello, everyone. You got Hannah is back, yo! Yeah, guess what? She edits her own videos now. Jump scare. Okay, like yesterday when I started to review the books, it started to rain.
Okay.
So right now, keeping my fingers crossed that it does not rain. Also, don't mind the music playing in the background. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but it's like one of our neighbors just blasting Indian Sarigama Sa.
Okay.
So I think it's been more than a year since I posted. It's just that I've been super busy with school, but I'm gonna try and post, whenever I can now. Over the past year, I've grown a profound love for reading books. Like back when I started the channel, I loved to read books. Like, Dove Diaries, Thea Stilton, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Tom Gates. They were literally my whole personality. But over the year, I got more into young adult books. So today I'm going to be showing you all the young adult books I read in 2024. So let's get started. Okay, so first up, I'm going to be showing you guys the book that got me into the world of young adult reading, which is of course A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. So before I start yapping about how good this book is, I'm going to be giving you guys, a little summary about this book. I have it written down here so I don't miss any points or anything. 5 years ago, a schoolgirl named Andy Bell was murdered by her boyfriend, Salil Singh. And because of this ruthless murder, the whole town was like into depression, the town where Andy Bell was from. And everyone in the town, including the police, knew that Salil Singh was the murderer. Well, everyone except the main character, Pippa Fitz-Amobi, who lived and grew up in the same town. Pippa does not believe that Sal is the killer because she knew Sal when she was younger. So to uncover the truth about this murder, Pippa chooses this case as the topic for her final year project. But as she starts to solve the case and as she starts to unravel the layers of truth, she starts to discover some secrets of the people living in the town. Secrets that they don't want anyone to know. The real killer is out there living his normal life. But as Pippa or Pip comes closer to finding out the truth, her life becomes more difficult. As if someone is going to put her in danger. How far will Pip go to find the real killer? That is the real question, my friends. Well, no spoilers here. If you want to know the answer to that question, please go read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Now for my thoughts on this book. This book is so brilliant. Like, it has so many plot twists and literally I was gripping at the edge of my seat. This was just so amazing and it kept me hooked right until the end. This is literally one of my favorite book series, till date. And A Good Girl's Guide to Murder has 3 books including this one. And that is not including the novella Killjoy. Like, if you want a good young adult mystery or thriller book, this is for you. This is where you need to start. Like, I literally suspected every single character in this book. That's what makes this book so good. And all the plot holes were covered. It's just so amazing, this book. I just love it. Like, I am a big fan of mysteries and thrillers. And I just love this book so much. So the female main character in this book is Pippa Fitz-Amobi. And the main male character is Ravi Singh, who is the brother of Sal Singh. So basically, Pippa and Ravi team up to solve the case together. So now it's time for the next book, which is Good Girl Bad Blood by Holly Jackson, which is the second book in the series. So Pip and Ravi release a true crime podcast about the murder case that they solved in the first book. But Pippa insists that, her investigating days are behind her. But she had to break that promise when one of the people she knows got missing. Jamie Reynolds had disappeared. Jamie Reynolds is basically one of Pippa's close friend's brother, and he disappeared on the same night that the town hosted a memorial for Andy Bell and Sal for their 6th year death anniversary. And when Pip says this to the police says they won't do anything about it. And since the police won't do anything, Pip started to look for Jamie, and she starts to uncover more of the dark secrets of her town. And now everyone is listening because of her podcast. So in this book, Ravi and Pip have such a great relationship. Like, he is so cheeky and their banter literally had me cracking up. Overall, this was actually an equally great book. Not as good as the first book, But yeah, it was actually pretty good. I laughed a lot, but at the end, I may have shed some tears because the end absolutely broke me. Here's a spoiler alert. Like Stanley Forbes, I always, I hated him in the first book, but after this book, my whole opinion about him changed. The ending was just so sad. Overall, actually, this was a really good book, and I recommend you guys read it too. So now for the third and final book of the series, my personal favorite, As Good as Dead. So Pippa is about to head to college, but she's haunted, by the way her last investigation ended. Now she's used to, online death threats, but she can't help noticing that always an anonymous person asks her this question: who will look for you when you're the one who disappears? Soon, the threats escalate, and, Pip realizes that someone is following her. And when she starts to, find the connections between her stalker and a local serial killer caught 6 years ago, she wonders if maybe the wrong man is behind bars. And of course, the police refuse to act, so Pip has only one choice, and that is to find the stalker herself. Or she should be the next victim. Soon Pip finds out that if she doesn't find the answers, she will be the next one who disappears. I don't have the book with me right now because, I borrowed it from one of my friends, but oh my god. It was... Now in this book, while reading this book, I was truly on the edge of my seat, and it was so traumatizing, which was one of the things I loved about it. And Holly Jackson's writing is like, a pure shot of adrenaline. Like, it's literally, some of the lines are kind of scary. And like, As Good as Dead is, the kind of books where you have to keep the book down and turn around to see if someone is watching you, because how can somebody write such good books like that? The only thing I did not like about As Good as Dead was the ending. I mean, what was the ending? You cannot just end a book like that. I need a separate novella for Pip and Ravi because I hated that ending. But other than the ending, the book was so amazing. It was literally like a roller coaster ride. It was the longest out of the 3 books, and it had so many plot twists, and the plot twist was just great. The thing about this series is that all the plot twists are unpredictable. So I just love, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. It's just my favorite. I just love ranting about it, to my friends and all. And I really recommend, you guys try and read it because it is just so mind-blowing. Next up, let's move on to one more book by Holly Jackson, which is 5 Survive. This is not part of the series, it's just a standalone separate book. So Red Kenny is on a road trip, for spring break with her 5 friends. Her best friend, the older brother, his perfect girlfriend, the secret crush, a classmate, and a killer. So when their RV, breaks down in the middle of nowhere, with no cell service, they realize that this is no accident. They had been trapped by someone who clearly wants them dead. So with 8 hours until dawn, the 6 friends, must escape, or they should figure out, which one of them is the target. Buried secrets were forced to rise, and not all of them will survive the night. 8 hours, 6 friends, and 5 survive. So I've got to admit that the starting is kind of slow, but when you get to the main plot of the book, it's just so heart-pounding and suspenseful. Although I did figure out one of the plot twists, the main plot twist I did not figure out, which is literally the main point why Holly Jackson's books are so good. This too was another unexpected roller coaster ride, but the ending again. Holly Jackson, you cannot just end a book like that. Now I need a separate novella for Red and Arthur because what is this ending? Now let me scratch out, my statement while reviewing the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. If you like mysteries and thriller, just read any of Holly Jackson's book. They are so good. They are literally top tier. Like here we have The Reappearance of Rachel Price, which I borrowed from a friend, and I have not finished reading this yet. But like my friend told me that this is such a good book, so I'm really excited to finish this. Okay, next up, let's go to another book series, the Powerless series by Lauren Roberts. So the genre of this book is young adult romantasy, and the tropes, I'll name some if I can recollect. There's definitely Who Did This to You, it's an enemies to lovers, There's forbidden romance, in some aspects. Slow burn, he falls first. Almost all my favorite tropes are included in this book. Only the extraordinary belong in the kingdom of Ilya. The exceptional, the empowered, the elites. So the powers these elites have possessed were graciously given to them thanks to the plague, but those who were born ordinary are just, ordinary. And once the king declared that ordinaries should be banished from the kingdom to preserve, the elite society, Peyton Grey, which is the female main character in this book, suddenly becomes a crime-making felon and a thief. So surviving as an ordinary in the slums is no simple task, and Peyton Grey knows that. So she poses as a psychic in the crowded city, blending in with the elites. Easier said than done. And one day, when Peyton saves one of Ilya's princes, she gets thrown into the purging trials. This brutal competition basically showcases the elite's powers, the very thing Peyton lacks. So if the trials, and her opponents don't kill her, then the prince she's fighting feelings for will, when he finds out that she's completely ordinary. Okay, again I've got to admit that the starting of this book, I fell asleep. It was actually kind of boring. But when I actually got to the main plot, it was so good. This is such a great fantasy novel. Kai and Peyton's chemistry in this book is just amazing and to die for. One of the things I love about fantasy books are the male main characters. Don't hate me, I'm just a girl.
Nice.
And that tension in almost all the scenes is just... I'm dead, kill me please. I'm not sure if everyone would like this. As I said before, the starting is kind of slow. But if you do want a really great romantasy book with a lot of tension and a really stupid and heartbreaking ending, this book series is for you. The ending though, so I got this book right when it was released. Like the second book, nor the novella had released yet. And when I read the ending, I don't understand why authors end their books like this. So without further ado, let's go to the novella of this series, Powerful. So in Powerless, I forgot to mention that Peyton has a best friend called Adina. And Adina and Peyton, have always been inseparable. Their friendship ensured that they would protect each other and the home they built in the slums. But now, as I said before, Peyton, an ordinary, had been selected for the purging trials, which totally means certain death. Now alone in Loot Alley, Adina must fend for herself. After making an attempt to steal, a mysterious man from a market comes to her rescue, and the male main character in this book is Makoto. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but his short form is Mark. I have no idea how to pronounce these names. Wake up to your house, nobody's home, it's you and me alone. So both of them basically team up to see their loved ones before the trials begin. And now I'll basically quote from the back of the book. The quest tests their loyalty, their love, and their lives. This book's ending absolutely shattered me. Okay, I thought I would be shattered at the endings of As Good as Dead and Powerless, which I was absolutely shattered. But this ending, the last chapter in this book, crushed me, and their chemistry in this book was just amazing as well. So now we're going to move on to the next book in the series, which is Reckless. So after surviving the purging trials, yes, spoiler, she survives. Peyton Grey has killed the king, and she kickstarted a resistance throughout the land. Now she's running from the one person she had wanted to run to. Aww. So Kai Azar is now Ilya's enforcer, loyal to his brother Kit, who is the new king, and he had vowed to find Peyton and bring her to justice. But in a city without elites, the balance between the hunter and hunted shifts, and the battle between duty and desire is deadly. This book felt like a love letter to Kai and Peyton, but of course the ending was just absolutely amazing and not traumatizing at all. I love this book. If you actually believe that. The world isn't just unicorn, sunshine and rainbows, little kid. The ending?
Oh my god, bro.
I don't understand why people would want to end books like this. I am just waiting for the next book, the final book to come out, and it better not end in a cliffhanger. The Powerless series is a romantasy book. It is a tension-filled enemies to lovers with many good tropes. And if you like everything I just said right now, this book series is for you.